Okay, so what is your name and what do you do here?
My name's Ivory Hackett-Evans and I am the Field Officer for Lighthouse Relief in Lesvos.
And where are you from?
I'm from England and I've been based in Lesvos for 10 months.
And why did you come here?
I chose to come here because I have a background working in boats, in NGOs and in politics, and this was I guess we can say, crisis that came to the European shores, my shores, and I felt an obligation to come and help and contribute my skill set that I felt was relevant.
And then how did you hear of the lighthouse?
The internet. So I just did probably what every single volunteer does before they come, and I just Googled volunteering in Lesvos. Lots of different things came up, and this appealed to me mainly because of the kind of element of the crossing, because of my boating background.
And then what can the U.S. learn from this experience?
You mean, what do you mean exactly?
Like what can the government learn from or understand what's going on?
Okay, so in Europe this is known, well globally this is known as the refugee crisis, okay? I do not see this as a crisis of mass migration. Mass migration is something that's going to continue going on and on and on. I see this as a crisis in the way in which we've responded to it as a civilized nation. You know, we have human rights laws, we have everything here. How have we responded to this? Surely we can do better than this. And that's kind of the thing that I would say to every country, to look at yourself. The crisis is from within, not from without.
Okay. And then what can the average citizen do to help?
So the thing is, if you look at the whole thing, it feels hopeless. You're just like, wow, there are so many layers to this and so many problems and so much history. What can I do? What can you do? You can do something small. What we do here in Lesvos is this journey is a long journey these people are taking. We are just here for one tiny, tiny little section of it. It's a particularly dangerous section, but we're just focusing on this tiny bit and making it safer. If people focus on what is their passion, this next bit of the section, okay, make that bit safer. And if we can all do that, make the accommodation safer and just work on the tiny little steps, don't think about the big picture, little things, and that's how you make a difference.
And how many refugees do you think come per week?
Oh, I do have the statistics on that, which I can provide to you at a later date if you want. At the moment, I can tell you that the arrivals for June, so I think we're on the 14th of June now, have surpassed the entire of May as a whole, well surpassed, and that's just in the north of Lesvos. Arrivals are now coming into the south pretty much every day, Chios, Samos, so there's definitely a trend of rising here.
Okay. And then could I take a picture of the document?
Of course, I can email it to you.
Alright, cool.
Just remind me. Remember, you always have to remind me of stuff.
And then
I'll WhatsApp it to you.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
So, what is this area? What is the function of this place?
So this is Lighthouse Camp, also known as Stage 1. The way in which arrivals work in Lesvos, it has never been the case that people remain resident in the north of Lesvos. They always have to go to the south to register for their asylum. Sometimes there is a period of time before they can travel to the south, and so we open one of 3 transit camps. What's special about this camp is it's the only one on the shores. So if we have lots and lots of arrivals and our infrastructure and transport to the other transit camps breaks down, people can walk into this camp, get their assistance, then walk on to the next camp. So that's how it used to work when we had a huge number of landings, and that's why this camp is important. It's ready for real emergency response when we go into crisis mode.
Okay. And you've been a part of some of the crises, people getting hurt and boating. What is that like? How has that impacted your life, I guess?
I think you have to learn to develop certain coping mechanisms. You have to be quite resilient. I think the only thing I would say is that if you are here to offer assistance to someone, and then I go up to that someone and then I'm crying myself, I'm not going to make them very reassured. So you need to know that you're in a strong place to offer assistance. So, yeah.
And then what kind of things can you learn from being here, besides?
A lot of things. You can learn a lot of things from being here. You can learn specific skill sets. If you were to come here as a volunteer, you would learn ridiculous amount of stuff like distribution systems, camp management, environmental cleanup operations, spotting operations, search and rescue operations, emergency response operations. So there is a lot to be learned, but one of the main things is just the huge amount of human compassion that exists, because you see all the volunteers coming in here every single day, week, they change, and it's the same people with the same energy, just with different backgrounds. So they are out there.
And then, so I'm guessing you made some connection with the refugees. Um, how do they How do they feel about like the whole operation going on? Like, do they?
So, me personally, part of my coping mechanism and to ensure that I'm as efficient as possible working in our tiny area here is actually I try to avoid making personal contact with the people when they arrive. My focus is to do my job, to assist them, but not see myself as a significant part of their life, because I'm there then for the next person and the next person. So when they leave, we send them on. There's different NGOs in the south of the island, there's different NGOs in Athens, and then you just hope that they can get the assistance further on, but I don't see myself as capable of offering that assistance. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And then, like, when they come here, how do they arrive, and what do they, how does this place help? Like, what are these?
You mean this camp or this
Like,
organisation?
this camp, how does this camp help them?
So essentially it's providing basic humanitarian assistance so that when they come off the boat they then go on to the next stage of their journey in the best condition possible. So we're talking very basic things: food, water, clothing, blankets. We partner with other NGOs that provide medical care. So very, very, very basic assistance. Nothing, this isn't development, this isn't anything like that. This is emergency response, basic humanitarian assistance.
Okay. And then, so they arrive here through, how do they get to this place and then to the next?
Okay, so when a boat arrives in Lesvos, we have two types of boats that usually come over. Ones that we call dinghies, which are self-driven boats by refugees themselves. So about 50 people in a boat, drives across, and we have to intercept it, and before it lands, sometimes it lands itself. We then go to meet the boat, we provide assistance on the shore side, we get permission to open a camp, we take the people to the camp, and then it's the authorities now who bus them to Moria. So we just operate just in the north of Lesvos.
Okay. And last question, what is the biggest struggle for Lighthouse helping the refugees?
I suppose one key problem at the moment, challenge, is that you see this story, this very sad story, dropping out of mainstream media. It's not told. People aren't aware that there's still arrivals. When a boat sinks, it's not in the media at all that people are still drowning on these tourist beaches. And so I think that is a challenge for raising awareness of the continuing situation, which is, as you can see, being here, very, very real, and also from fundraising perspective as well, which I know is like a very kind of cold, hard way to look at it, but you need money to operate this assistance.
Cool.
Yeah.